Welcome back, everyone. Ooh, that's probably pretty loud. Welcome back, everyone, to Suzerain. Suzerain. I don't know. Someone in the comments of I'm recording this just a few hours after I published the first episode, and someone was like, "Suzerain is a French word," and I'm like, "Oui." I know, but, like, this is English. Anyway, Suzerain, or whatever the fuck it's called. So, we need to get into the sort of thick of things. Now, country overview. Ooh. Okay, so I see a lot of red. Oh, this is a bit like, it's a bit like Tropico, where you've got certain, certain issues, basically, that are being rated off screen and then presented to you by the coloring. So that's pretty good. I understand what's going on. So, law, we have some active politics. BFP banned. That was the Bloodish Freedom Front of the great nation of Blood, which is Bergia, called Bergia right now. So they're little nationalist, secessionist party. The president may veto bills. President is impeachable by the court. So not by the parliament, by the court. Ministers are chosen from the assembly. Okay. That's weird. 10% election threshold. So if you don't get at least 10% of the vote, you can't get into the National Assembly. Presidential decree. So that forces... That carries the force of law, however, they could not contradict the Constitution and are subject to judicial review. You know, many governments today basically have these. This sounds like, oh my god, presidential oversight and dictatorship or whatever, but no, like most countries have a shitload of these kinds of mechanisms. Unlimited terms. So according to the Constitution, the president can be elected to serve an unlimited number of terms. Justices are immune. Honorary membership gives immunity, okay. Constitutional amendments require Assembly and Supreme Court, so we have court backlog, a significant backlog, limited women's rights, the Bloodish problem, judicial rivalry, okay, some human rights, and a mostly free press. Okay, then the economy seems like where we have basically the most important thing. We have Alfonsonomics. So the sort of free market reforms of Alfonso, and we need to undo a few of them. We have weak transportation, we have unemployment, we have tax evasion, decreased trade volume, Bergia economic plummeting, Lauren Rust Belt, Agenland lacks investment and stagnated production, and we have just, you know, a whole bunch of shit. We're gonna get into it when we have the issues to actually take a look at them. Political overview. Oh, that's the cabinet. Our good friend Piotr Nia Morgna. Incredible. That's quite the mustache right there. So that's political overview. The factions, we have so this is within, I suppose, the United Sordland party. We have the old guards, who are the conservatives, the oligarchs, who, you know, big cash, and the reformists, who we hopefully are going to be getting some sway with soon. Legislative, so USP has the majority. Then the opposition is the PFJP, the People's Justice and Freedom Party, who are like the more kind of center-left sockdems kind of deal. National Front are the Nazis. And then the 10 Independents. I see. Then the judiciary, yeah, we've got the things. We know what's going on here. They're dominated by the conservatives under Heron Garaci. We have a bunch of news from the unread newspapers, but we also got these like little notes about our provinces, apparently. So low production in Agenland, alarming low levels of productivity and growth in the region of Agenland, where there's also high rates of food insecurity, malnutrition, and rural poverty. Lack of investment. So, lack of adequate infrastructure around Arbery, which severely undermines the effectiveness of Arbery's investment climate. So we have a lot of logistics costs in the region, which are bad. Okay. Then what's going on here? I would kind of like to... Okay. The port of Lachaven loses importance. No longer the busiest of the Marcopa continent. Negative indicator. Potential to shine again. Largest port of Sordland. Okay. Then what else? Do we have any other... No. Just... I guess these are events with the little exclamation mark. Oh, we've got logistical issues. Mayor of Holsford reports that the rising population and fast urban expansion has resulted in high level of congestion in the city traffic. Okay. The absence of a well-designed, large, land-based logistics center where all transporters come together is one of the greatest problems for domestic transport because Holsford is a big metropolis. I see, so the city needs infrastructure. Then the general staff is gathering. The chief of the armed forces made a public press statement highlighting the increasing chances of military confrontation in eastern Marcopa and requests to strengthen the military. Okay. Briefing on the current political situation. Okay, here we go. We did it, Anton. We finally won. Finally, after all those years, the grindstone paid off. Piotr's eyes sparkled. The strain of the past months had put a damper on his usual rakish charm, but today he was looking and acting more like his old self. He loosened his tie and undid the top 2 buttons of his shirt. 2? Incredible. He probably is homosexual. So enjoying the secretary. Today, back to the university. Did you ever imagine we would still be here in the Baroon Palace to celebrate a great victory? So we could eat or drink. I mean, I'm drinking right now. Not that much, but... Let's celebrate at the ball. I'm sure the kids would love to see their Uncle Piotr for the first time as the vice president. Anyway... Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the door swung open and Lucian Galade, Galade, probably. My chief strategist walked in. Okay. Looks like he's basically just a party guy. Legal advisor. He was advisor to the Interior Ministry. Successful strategist. Okay. So he's the dude that thinks about how to get things done. Pour a glass of water. Okay. We'll start the meeting by evaluating the current situation. So the majority of the Sordland people demand change. They are more concerned about the economy than the constitution. But they blame the system for their problems. People are losing their trust in our democracy. This frustration even causes some to reason with figures like Bernard Sirkas. Who is Bernard Sirkas? He is a Sordish poet, novelist, short story writer, and politician. He is acclaimed for his lyrical flow and was regarded to be the leader of the Sordish avant-garde. His works earned him the description of a romantic communist. So he joined the Red Youth. Okay. Moved to United Cantana and studied sociology at the Communist University of Kyiv. Okay, I see. There he was influenced by the artistic experiments of Kantanan poets who advocated futurism, as well as the ideological vision of Malyenev. Okay, so he's an avant-garde communist. He's come back, and now he is a popular figure. He became the first communist to be elected to the Grand National Assembly of Sordland. It is expected that we bring the change the last government did not. Franz Richter, the leader of the reformists. So that's the guy of the People's Justice and Freedom Party, so PFJP. Believes that true change can only be done by transferring some of our powers to the Assembly. I'll move into the detail of their demands shortly. Okay, so either I agree with the reformists, we need to listen to the people if we want to serve this country. If we lose power as the government, we won't be able to execute the necessary changes for the good of our country. I mean, the third option seems definitely the most attractive to me right now. May create issues for us, yes. However, with the reformists gaining more popularity, we may not be in a position to stand against them. Mr. Richter managed to influence many members of the Assembly to give their support to drafting a new constitution. Reformist politicians are quickly increasing in number. While the reformist wing inside our party is still a minority, they could have a tripartisan majority in the Assembly, especially if they unite with Franz Richter. So, our own reformists and the reformist party could unite. I see. USP reformists aren't wrong to agree that we need change, but we should be in charge. That's what I want. We can't let the PFJP leadership take the spotlight on this. Reformist demands are clear. They want to limit the president's veto powers, ensure that the Supreme Court is independent, and take away their right to vote on constitutional amendments. Must listen to their demands, otherwise we are no different than the previous administrations. Yes. I agree. It's better not to go against the wind of change that is raging in the country at this moment. The old guards will do their best to preserve the Constitution. Chief Justice Hawker and his ally judges have a great influence over the Supreme Court, which would be tough to break. The court also has an absolute power over constitutional legislation. Oh no, that's the other guy. I fucked up my voice. So we will need a comprehensive bill to balance the power structure more fairly. We must break the power of the Supreme Court one way or another. Yes, we definitely must. I agree, they have too much power over Swordish politics. We need to take away their vote in constitutional legislation. It is absurd that an unelected branch gets to vote for bills, which is true. So, looks like we have many challenges ahead. We will figure it out. Our party still holds 130 out of 200 seats in an assembly. However, to reform the Constitution, we must receive a 2/3 majority in the Grand National Assembly, which is 166 votes, and a simple majority in the Supreme Court that equates to 6 votes. After we have settled our thoughts on how to proceed, we will need to talk with our party figures. Our first goal must be to get the 150 signatures needed to start the process. Following the green light from the USP, we will reach out to the other party leaders to see if they would back our draft. And then the last step is to convince the justices of the court. The entire process will take a long time, but we must start working with a reform committee to evaluate all possibilities for a new constitution as soon as possible. So either try to be more reformist, should give the president wide-ranging powers to lead Sordland into the future, or we could work with the old guard to protect our existing extensive powers. I'm more of the second. Yep. Of course, it will be looked at in detail. Yeah, I don't want to, like, just go 100% off in one direction. The expected reform is rebalancing the power between the executive, legislative, and judiciary. That does include strengthening the legislative body by giving them a chance to override vetoes, as well as ensuring that the judiciary is independent. Can't we avoid strengthening the legislative? Or if it must be done, I will do it. Let's do that. Okay, so there are 2 changes to the Constitution that are not open. So according to the initial draft we made of the reformists, there are 2 changes to the Constitution that are not open for their discussion. First, the Supreme Court will no longer vote on constitutional amendments, which I agree. Second, the president's absolute veto will be taken away. This can be replaced with a limited veto system by fixing the current loopholes. This kind of reminds me of a little discussion that was going on in like the French constitutional, the very, very brief, short-lived French constitutional monarchy that lived for a while after the essentially 1789 revolution. That was about essentially the royal veto. I have no problem with these clauses, and these work. We will form a reform committee together with all parties and start reaching out to all stakeholders in the assembly and the court for a new constitution. Okay. So each party will, formulate requests. Another important point. We must be aware about the Lauferberg group. Oh no, the Bilderbergs. So the Lauferberg group was founded by Noel Tusk, who used to be the economic advisor to the King of Sordland. So an old sort of economic czar figure. Currently the spokesman of the organization is Walter Tusk, the grandson of Noel Tusk. Officially, Lauferberg has no clear structure or leadership, but the spokesman is considered to be the de facto leader. The group convenes every 3 months at the Hotel Berg in the village of Laufer. Okay, so that's why Lauferberg. The meetings are secret, but many analysts suggest that the topics like the economy, security, and international politics are discussed. Most of its members are unknown, except for the speaker, Walter Tusk's. Conspiracy theorists think that the future of Mercopa is decided at these conferences. Of course, of course. So the oligarchs convene under this group to influence economic policies. If you remember, they're one of the three factions in the USP. According to reports, some members of the National Business Council are in their pocket. So the National Conseil de Bizerten. Clearly the National Business Council. So the official government structure that includes most of the leading business leaders of Sordland. Government structure. It's like a business owners union, but for the state. Usually these kinds of business owners associations are not state, and they're not a part of the state, which is weird. This is kind of corporatist. So they're participating in a cooperation with the government on improving the economic prospects. Many details including state projects, incentives, taxes, unemployment, and the future. Okay, so it's led by Mikhail Aven, representing the private sector, and Simon Holl, oh, so yeah, again, it's kind of corporatism. Okay. So Mikhail Aven. Damn, I like how, this is insane. Every motherfucker has a biography. This is something else. Anyway, according to reports, some members of the National Business Council are in their pockets. They will surely try to bribe us for their special economic interests. I won't be bought, it won't happen. As far as I know, Simon Holl is a politician and businessman who serves as the Minister of the Economy, Commerce, and Energy. Oh, so he's my Minister of the Economy. And we may try using his influence if we deem it necessary. Okay, so he has some ties there. He was a big supporter of the free market reforms of Ewald Alfonso, but criticized his other policies and blamed the recession on his rushed handling of the reform. So he's basically a pro-Arcasian free market economist. I see. Yeah, that will definitely come in handy. We need to tread carefully on all sides with all power players in order to survive our term. Well then, gentlemen, precisely 30 minutes. This concludes our political briefing for today. Our next meeting will be about media strategy. Okay. Haha. Very interesting. So, country overview. Do we have any... Yeah, the constitutional amendments... Reform Committee, there we go. So our Reform Committee has been formed to discuss the possibilities of a new constitution with all parties in the government. I see what's going on. Journal turn 1. I declared my intention to work with the reformists for the constitutional reform. Yes. Public opinion report. People's views on the need for democratic reform in the government structure has changed over the last decade. So, massive increase in the number in demands for democratic reforms. It is estimated that currently 55% of the population supports reformist ideas. So, it's definitely a popular course to move towards more reformism. And if we do want to make Sordland strong, as we do, we are going to need a more sort of well-structured constitution and legal system and separation of powers and all that. Let's go for the meeting on the media strategy. Let's begin. First of all, Lucian, you mentioned that Marcel Coronti contacted you. Oh, Marcel Coronti. So who is he? He's a philanthropist, businessman, son of the media proprietor Conrad Coronti. He operates the HOS Advertising, the largest advertising company in Sordland. I see who this motherfucker is. He's basically like the most important guy in Swedish politics just because of that. So he has a degree in communications from Harvard. Yes, I just said Harvard. I see. So he's the media guy. The Corontis have always been known as one of the richest and most influential families in Sordland. Marcel Coronti was no exception. He was the oldest son of Conrad Coronti, who has no picture, the industrialist and media mogul who founded HOS, the richest man in the entirety of Sordland. Lucien turned to me. He has offered to meet with you, Mr. President. What does he want? Why is Conrad sending a son? Or why should I meet with him? Well, it's obvious why he's sending the son, because, you know, Marcel operates the advertising firm. What does he want, is the question. Well, after the passing of his father, may he rest in peace, Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the HOS conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They are a powerful and influential media conglomerate. To start with, they own the Sordland Today newspaper, the Swedish Broadcasting Corporation, which means it would be wise to have them on our side. Sorry for interrupting. What does this productive collaboration entail? He did not wish to explain the details over the phone, but rather in person. I believe I will be receiving a call from him sometime soon. However, as Piotr said, they have substantial power over the content of media outlets, headlines, radio shows. That is what he would be offering. What he wants in return is what we need to understand. But first, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to the media. I have far less expertise in the matter, but very interesting arguments were made by Lucien at the preparation meeting yesterday. There are two ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it, which has clear advantages, and the other is by keeping it independent. So either it must be independent or it is a tool to be used. You know, an independent media is also kind of a tool because the way it works is it's a safe sort of criticism. Let's try to keep it independent, but, like, I kind of want to try to have a way to influence it. Ideally, yes, but an unpopular leader will not be able to pass even the easiest reforms. It is of the utmost importance to maintain the public popularity and avoid any damaging scandals or mistakes, which is what I thought. I must stress one thing, Mr. President. The more people we have on our side supporting the agenda, the more we can accomplish. With someone on our side in an influential media organization, we can do this very easily. I share your opinion. Even if we don't use it, let us have control over it. Exactly. You're all aware of my certain expertise with public opinion swaying. I will make sure the media to be on our side. 2 knocks were made on the door. Who is it? It's Livia, Mr. President. So she's the first secretary. And a woman of color. Okay. I see. So this is probably the person who's gonna try to seduce me to get a scandal. Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Galade's secretary has been called me and wanted me to relay a message. So, the chief strategist, Marcel Coronti, the new CEO for HOS Conglomerate, is on the line for Mr. Galade. Well, the ball is in our court now. Would you like to talk to him, sir? Or would you like me to? I'll talk to him. Pick up the phone. I picked up the phone. Let's be diplomatic, sure. The pleasure is all mine. I know your time is valuable, so I will not waste any of it. I was just elected to be the CEO of HOS. My strategy in the running of this conglomerate will be different than my father's approach. Okay. I would like you to formally invite to my resort near Conriat for a meeting to discuss the detail. Thank you for your offer. I would be interested in the meeting. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Well then, I will let you return to your packed schedule. See you later, Mr. President. Goodbye. Okay. So we're gonna have a meeting with the motherfucker. Excellent. Codex entry updated. Okay. Haha, so the codex actually gets updated as we do things. So he was okay, I see what's going on. I see what's going on. Well, what else is over here? Briefing on the current economic situation. I'll do that after reading a couple other things, and then that's gonna be the end of today's episode. So the party committee report reports that any potential change in the constitution in the direction of the reformers will likely result in strong opposition from the National Front Party. Yes, how many seats do they have? I don't 100% remember. How many seats does the National Front have? They've got 40. So they're kind of a force to be reckoned with. Oh shit. How do I return to notes? Fuck. Aha. HOS. How do I return to notes that I... Haha! Okay! I can take notes myself. Incredible. That is probably good. Anyway, so that's that. I suppose, first, before we take a look at these two things, we should take a look at these news, see how it is. So, the Holstered Post. Okay. Sordland today. The first congratulations came from Kesaro Kibener, the National Front Party. Huh. I see. The Lachaven Times. Support for in Assembly grows for campaign finance bill. So the bill aims to change the criteria from the proportion of votes won in general election to the proportion of seats won by a political party in the Grand National Assembly. This would result in an increase of about 28 million SR. So Sordian... I don't know what this currency is called. To the governing Uniting Sordland Party, which will benefit the most from the proposed bill. Okay. I see. Sordish National League starts season. Okay. New assembly begins duty. Yeah, of course, the Aha, so the Communist Party and the Workers' Party of Bludia won just below 10% of the vote, failing to pass the 10% election threshold. I see. I see. Yeah, of course, the radical is like, I suppose the view of the unheard, of the radical left, of the Chinese, or something like that. And economists restructure the infrastructure. I'm gonna read that a little bit more, you know, when I'm off screen, so that I don't bore you with infrastructure. Although what am I kidding? You're probably not bored with infrastructure, are you? So recent successful mega infrastructure projects from United Contan and Volksland, which is that republic to the northeast, that kind of communist Britain. The world is warming up to the idea of the idea as a source of growth and employment. But is there any truth to the success? Of course, the economists is probably going to be super liberal, or super, you know, economically liberal. Our investment analysis indicates that infrastructure investments can be fruitful in short term, but even more so in the long term, especially if they focus on linking economic nodes that business logistics depend on. This is, however, the first step. The crux of the matter is diversification of investment, where the government supports employment and growth. The government's role in Sordland should be to integrate the world economy and reap the benefits of global trade. I see. And the Solonomics. Our top economic analysts, with consultation from the National Business Council, have released a comprehensive report on the performance of the past 20 years. Last two 4-year plans of the plan doctrine created a budget deficit and a clear reduction of the industrial production output. Yeah, of course, he wants like super market reforms or whatever. I see. Geopolitico. Rumburg coming south. So Rumburg is at Germany to the northwest. Our foreign policy analysts were reviewing the recent aggressive military and diplomatic development of Rumburg will come to the conclusion that it is highly likely that Rumburg will continue trying to push south, so threatening the territories of Sordland, Vechelen, and possibly Agnolia. So Rumburg is a big threat, apparently. So we're gonna need at some point to strengthen the military to face Rumburg, and that is definitely something I want to do because, you know, want to make Sordland great and or whatever. What will be the regional trade policy? Due to the strategic geopolitical location of Sordland, historically Agnolia and Vechelen have been natural trading partners. So Agnolia is this northern Dutch country, while Vechelen is this southern mountain country, poor mountain country. Depending on the direction of the Reign administration, we think it is likely that a new trade deal will be brokered with at least one of these partners in the near term. All in all, regardless of which trading partners the administration decides to go with, one thing is for sure, regional trade will boost the ailing economy. Real question is, what does Volksland or Lesbia think about Sordland? Well, Lesbia seems friendly enough. I'm not sure about Volksland, but we're gonna take a look at that later. So, campaign of finance bill. So we can veto it. It's been approved, right? No, I think I'm gonna say this will result in a doubling of the USP election budget and a slight increase in the other parties in the assembly, while effectively removing all funding from parties that are below the 10% election threshold. Ren or Ren is the currency. So Sordland Ren. I say Ren because it sounds Chinese to me, like renminbi. It's just the RMB of the Chinese currency. I'm gonna sign it because that helps. That helps the Sordland, United Sordland Party. So why not? Anyway, the briefing on the current economic situation. We're gonna do this and then be done for today. Okay, can I like click on these people? So we have Simon Hull, our good economist, free market economist friend. Gus Manger, who is a politician and businessman who serves as the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development since 1949. Ah, he is a member of the older administration, so he's from the Alfonso administration, which probably means he's a free market guy as well. But he is credited for the long-awaited development of the rural regions of Sordland as minister during Alfonso's presidency. Okay. So he was a part of an administration that kind of fucked up the economy, but his work, you know, was successful. And Lilias Graf, she is the Minister of the Interior. Was a mayor. Her policies on urban planning and public education transformed Holsor's economy and boosted her popularity in the capital. She is currently one of the leading figures in the USP. Okay, so she is an expert on urban development and police relations. As one of the most influential supporters of Anton Rain's candidacy, she arguably brought with her a large conservative support in the election. I see. So basically, all these three are super important people for our economics. Okay. So, Gus, do you really think that such an economically advanced area is more in need of investment than Agland? Lilias, my interior minister, strode in. She was clad in shades of brown and beige, the only spot of color in a bright yellow Nurist star on her necklace. What the hell is a Nurist star? I suppose it's like the religion thing, right? Gus followed close behind. Don't be an idiot, Lilias. What about the unemployment crisis in Greater Holsolder and Gersland region are going through? These areas are our economic heartland. So, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development temper hadn't changed since his days in the Alfonso administration, but neither had his reputation for getting things done. Simon Hall quickly stepped between the two ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. He doesn't seem to like them very much. Good morning, Mr. President. What is this debate about? Just a disagreement in internal economic strategy, President Rain. Which, you know, is like my job, so please tell me about it. Mrs. Graf seeks to focus our economic development in a region where we can't reap the financial benefit. Business leaders are requesting better logistical links in order to contribute to the economy more. So this is what we were seeing earlier with the reports from Agenland, which is our northern region. So Lilias Graf, a wise idea if your main agenda is to make money instead of developing the region and serving the people. I'm doing a Margaret Thatcher voice because I just see her as Margaret Thatcher. I do not know why, but she seems like Margaret Thatcher to me. Or I suppose she's actually Hillary Clinton, but I mean, I'm not talking about like her actual background. It's just how like she looks. But I'm gonna be using Margaret Thatcher as her voice. Lilias, could you elaborate? Of course. The argument is simple. Agenland is our weakest region, both in terms of economic and social support. We should support the city of Arvery and its respected mayor. How impartial can you really be? Of course, she was like the mayor of Arvery, right? Yeah, she was the mayor of Arvery, so of course. Simon was absorbing the argument. What are your thoughts? I have to say that I agree with both of them. Agenland is in need of investment, and we can improve Greater Holsford and Gelsland. I want to avoid this topic now, since we will talk about it in the future. I would rather first thoroughly brief you on our current economic situation. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of. He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants by the door, both of whom were now visibly struggling to hold the heavy projector. Okay. So, Simon, what happened to the new police station construction in Estord? It got stalled due to a government property boundary issue. I've been meaning. Okay, so it's just some. Yeah. Okay. So there have been some developments about the Sordland losing further value today. We've been trying to stabilize it with the central bank. So the Recession of 51, which is what happened after, you know, Alfonso did the funny and tried to run the economy like, you know, like a business 101 high school manual, resulting in the collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was a significant cause of concern for our administration. What would you like to know about the current economic situation? So, I suppose first things first, if we have a recession, what is the status of the recession? The economy has been in a recession of about -6% in the past year, which is fucking disgusting. The average GDP has dropped from GDP per capita, from 15,456 per capita to 10,359. So we're just like a third of our economy gone, just completely. This administration's success depends on our ability to stop the recession. The sooner we can reach GDP growth, the better. What is our GDP and debt situation? Our current GDP is 310 billion Swedish ren, and the national debt is 427 billion. Oh, damn. So we have over 100% debt to GDP ratio. It is still hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth. The past 3 years were tough. So what is the unemployment and the inflation rate? Unemployment has skyrocketed and is now at a staggering 16%, and the inflation is at a relative high of 7%. The inflation doesn't seem that bad, but 16% unemployment is a lot. We need to get these people off the streets and working. I agree. Let's move on to the strategy. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. The extensive privatization of Alfonso left us with a large budget surplus with which we can stabilize the crisis. The primary subject we need to settle on is what general path we will take in our term. Solonomics-based nationalization happened in the 30s, and Alfonso's privatization began during the 40s. What will our administration focus on? One of our main promises was to promote a planned economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I still don't think this is a good idea. We shouldn't go back to Solonomics. It is the reason of the recession. Of course. Self-sufficiency will help us in tough times. Economic systems without regulation are bound to fail. What are the consequences of the free market? The more of the economy we control, the better we can manage the recession. Or what are the downsides of the planned economy? We want some regulation at the very least. But is it enough? I doubt it. If we can manage to plan more aspects of the economy... So she's not Margaret Thatcher after all, because she's for planned economy. The structural problems of Solonomics are going to lead to a recession according to the predictions at the time anyway. Either way, even if we pick one of the doctrines, we retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis. That is, however, not recommended in my point of view. The last thing we need is a chaotic economic plan. So she agrees. There is another important point which has a direct impact on our economy. Superpowers. We've done well not aligning ourselves with one of them. So, an isolationist policy can only work if we were to reap benefits of both spheres in their library. Yes. So, I suppose time will show if staying neutral will work. Of course, he's like, we need to be open to other possibilities. Arcasia is a strong country, and if we end up in their sphere, well, just NATO, Sordland will increase its influence in the world. The deals we would get would surely bring us out of recession. In return for what? Our independence? When the time comes, I hope you will make the right decision for our own good. Okay, of course. So we're gonna deal with the foreign policy later. Okay, so either we have to thank Seoul and its planned economy for the earlier boom, like late 1930s boom. Let's finish what Alfonso started with the capitalist free market reform. This path will enrich Sordland. Would a planned economy focus bring us stronger allies? Or what's on our long-term economic schedule? Picking a construction company, trade relations, tax reforms, welfare privatization, or nationalization initiatives would be some of them. Must choose wisely and remember that the free market economy... No. Yeah. We have to thank Seoul and his planned economy for the boom. With a planned economy, bring us stronger allies. We'll make United Contana diplomatically look at our country in a more positive light. Okay. Our economic strategy should be based on internal reasoning, though, which I agree. What are your final thoughts, Mr. President? So critical institutions must remain in state control. We must be fully responsible in delivering services. We should look at opportunities like privatization to create financial resources. Market economy doesn't require much guidance and could help us attract capital. But I kind of want a mixed economy. But at the same time, see, what I kind of want to do is I want to do what Epic Jiang Zemin said to China. Is like, we're gonna keep the big and let the small go. So we shouldn't be fully responsible. Promote a planned economy. I see. So, that's going to be it for now. A few turns have passed. Actually, this is still turn 1. Incredible. But I'm getting along with my schedule. So, oh, I see that I have an event in Le Havre later. And yeah, we're gonna go for a planned economy because we want to be strong. So yeah, we need to deal with this recession as soon as possible by any means necessary and all that. So, I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon with more Sordland.